Welcome, everyone. If you have not met me yet, my name is Jody Adams. I'm a licensed massage therapist and a doTERRA wellness advocate. I work tirelessly to support people really motivated to improve their health. Today, we are learning what chronic inflammation means for your body, why you are reading more and more about it, and the importance the FDA and the NIH are placing chronic inflammation. We will look at how an anti-inflammatory diet can help you face down the challenges of controlling, managing, and postponing diseases associated with chronic inflammation. By addressing each element of an anti-inflammatory diet, we can target easy changes first, success breeds success. Rather than completely changing your diet overnight, you might find it easier to make small changes so you can stick to them before you move on to the next challenge. So at this time, I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil and write down any questions that you may have, and I'll give you a way to contact me so I can answer all your questions. And also make some notes so you know where to get started. Our sources. I'm going to go over our sources for this presentation. Journal of Inflammation Research, Anti-Inflammatory Diet, Anti-Inflammatory Diet and Food Pyramids, Biomarkers of Chronic Inflammation in Disease Development and Prevention, Molecular Nutrition and Food Research, Anti-Inflammatory Eating Plan, Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism, Inflammation to blame for Alzheimer's, blood test markers identified, Mediterranean diet shown to ward off heart attacks of stroke, primary prevention of cardiovascular disease and Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet has a huge health benefit on new studies targeting inflammation to treat depression. Advanced in experimental medicine and biology. Inflammation, anti-inflammation foods and inflammation. We are constantly bombarded with the value of anti-inflammatory properties of food and beverages. So how many red wine lovers do I have out there? You're going to love this. And some of my friends do as well. Virtually everyone knows that red wine has anti-inflammatory properties. Hooray for red wine. But remember, moderation, guys. Most of us understand that fish, leafy green vegetables, the colorful vegetables, beans, and other foods are well known as anti-inflammatory foods. But do we really understand the anti-inflammatory properties of these foods? Spices also play a role in anti-inflammatory food landscape as well. Turmeric, the spice often found in Indian foods, has increased in popularity, as well as with curry powder, ginger, garlic, chili peppers, basil, cinnamon, rosemary, and thyme. However, recent studies indicate the value of turmeric may be seriously overrated. Clearly, there are two sides to this turmeric story. Now, when I use some spices and when I'm cooking, because I love to cook, I will use essential oils as well. But keep in mind when you're cooking with essential oils that they're 50 to 70 times more powerful than dried herbs. What is inflammation? Do we understand what inflammation is? Let's dig into that. Normal inflammation is good for your body and is part of a natural healing process. For example, if you jam a finger or stub a toe and it turns red at the joint and it swells and is tender for a few days, that's good. That's the normal body's way of healing and the process is at work. Chronic inflammation is completely different. Contributes to a whole host of chronic and terminal diseases from cancer to Alzheimer's. Chronic inflammation that does not go away is not good and can cause conditions in the body. A new study provides concrete evidence that inflammation response from the immune and nervous system may contribute to the development of Alzheimer's disease in the brain. Effects of chronic inflammation can include hair loss, depression, and many others. But the scary thing is, in many cases, chronic inflammation may also be undetected. Depression and inflammation. Let's look at patients with heart disease who are depressed. You see they have higher markers of inflammation than heart disease patients who are not depressed. And heart patients aren't the only ones. We cover a lot of grounds in terms of the inflammation and its potentially impacts upon your health. Inflammation is power, and I'm ready to transfer that power over to you. So let's backtrack and summarize a bit. Inflammation occurs with the release of chemicals from white blood cells into the blood flow to protect a part of the body to remove toxic cells, pathogens, stimuli, and other irritants, and repair damaged tissue. Managing toxic inflammation is the goal. Inflammation that repairs an injury, such as a stubbed toe or a jammed finger, is good inflammation. Let's look at a Harvard University study. Indicates food with proven inflammation properties should be avoided by those with the inflammation disorders. These include white flour-based products, such as white bread, cakes, cookies, chips, fried food, soft drinks, red meat, processed meats, spreads such as margarine. Choose 100% whole grain flours, omega-3 rich like walnuts, and unsaturated fats like olive oil. Avoid breads that contain sugar and corn syrup, particularly hydrogenated oils, refined white flour, and artificial sweetener. Anti-inflammatory food list. Let's go over that. Tomatoes, olive oils, green leafy vegetables, nuts like almonds and walnuts. Now, some of the green leafy vegetables, kale, collards, spinach, fatty fish like salmons, fruits such as strawberries, blueberries, cherries, and oranges. Have I got any coffee lovers out there? Great news for you. Coffee contains anti-inflammatory compounds that may protect against inflammation. Okay, let's get technical. It helps to let the source of inflammation, the technical details, sink in a bit. So let's go over vitamin K. That's the vitamin found in green leafy vegetables, some vegetable oils, and some kinds of fruits. Metabolic risk markers for inflammation were reduced by 30% when following a diet with vitamin K intake increased at least 70 micrograms per day. Let's talk about whole grains. You'll see a positive anti-inflammatory effect by consuming a diet high in whole grains. Let's discuss omega-3 fatty acids. Scientists remain unsure how much omega-3 fatty acids a person needs to consume to see notable anti-inflammatory benefits. Omega-3 is good, omega-6 is bad. So you need more of a balance between the omega-3s and the omega-6s. What happens when, there's so many of us, if not all of us, we put so much on our plates. So therefore, we get in these situations that we just have to grab something. So we're turning to fast foods, we're turning to processed foods, something quick and easy. And that's going to really allow those omega-6s to be so much higher than the omega-3. So we need to balance those out. We need to lower those omega-6s intake. Vitamin D. The primary source of vitamin D is sunlight. Vitamin D is known to aid in the control of inflammation. Vitamin D has long been known to contribute to bone health by promoting the absorption of calcium. So what is turmeric all about? Turmeric comes from the plant curcumin. Do not confuse this spice with cumin. Turmeric is an orangey, yellowish color and is often the dominant flavor in Indian curries. A recent review of scientists has evidence suggesting there is no actual health benefit associated with turmeric or curcumin. Turmeric is not easily absorbed by the body. Curcumin has been demonstrated to be safe in a 6 human trial and has demonstrated anti-inflammatory activities. This may have anti-inflammatory activity by inhibiting of the number of different molecules that plays a role in inflammation. Something to think about. Okay. Anti-inflammatory foods for life. Fruits and vegetables. Fruits, fresh or frozen, 3 to 4 servings per day. Vegetables, raw or cooked, 4 to 5 servings per day. You really want to consume a lot of raw vegetables as much as you can, because that's going to give you the enzymes you need to really break up those heavier foods that you're going to be consuming. Fruits, raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, peaches, oranges, grapefruit, red grapes, plums, pomegranate, blackberries, cherries, apples, and pears are excellent choices for fruits because of the antioxidants-rich foods. Vegetables, dark leafy greens, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, bok choy, cauliflower, carrots, beets, onions, peas, squash, and raw green salads are among better choices for vegetables. Beta-carotene-rich foods are an excellent choice too. Sweet potatoes, carrots, kale, butternut squash, pumpkin, mustard greens, cantaloupes, sweet red peppers, spinach. I know this sounds a little dull at first, and it may be, but as you embrace this anti-inflammation approach to foods, you lose that craving that overwhelms you with the sugary products. Beans or whole grains, 1 to 2 servings per day. Some good choices are black chickpeas, black-eyed peas as well, and lentils. Pasta, 2 to 3 servings per week. Organic pasta, rice noodles are choices. Whole or cracked grains, 3 to 5 servings per day. Brown rice, wild rice, buckwheat are some great choices as well. My suggestion would be have a bean day once a week. So let's move on to the spices. Turmeric curry powder, ginger, garlic, chili pepper, basil, cinnamon, rosemary, and thyme. And I like adding the essential oils when we're dealing with spices. And remember, when you add essential oils, use a healthy fat before you actually submerge it into your dish. That way it's submerged into the whole dish and you don't just like take a bite and just have an overwhelming taste of essential oils. Okay, for those coffee and tea lovers, 2 to 3 cups per day. White, green, or of tea is an excellent choice. Red wine, those wine lovers out there, 1 to 2 glasses per day max. Discuss with your doctor though. High quality multivitamin and supplements are very important, with vitamin D and fish oils and the CoQ10. I like using our LLV, so it's the Lifelong Vitality Pack. So if you have any questions about that, our multivitamins, then just contact me and I'll go over that as well. Or I've also done a webinar, so you can go to my YouTube channel and just hit subscribe. That way you can get any of my notifications or any of my new videos. Selenium-rich foods like tuna, crab, oysters, tilapia, cod, shrimp, lean beef, turkey, wheat germ, and whole grains. Foods to avoid. Make a six. Cut down on processed foods and fast food. Avoid a high-fat diet of trans fat, saturated fat. This means fried food like French fries and fried chicken. Omega-3 fatty acids are healthy, while omega-6 fatty acids are still important in the ratio to omega-3 should be low. Corn, vegetable oil, all have omega-6 fatty acids. So that's a better source to get your omega-6. Lactose product. So let's talk about the products from lactose. Dairy products are high in inflammation. All animal proteins contain inflammation proteins that have been linked to disease. Your skin is actually your largest organ. So how many of us knew that? Toxins in the body cannot digest and eliminate through the colon, escape through your skin in the form of acne or even rashes. So meat. Pork and beef are difficult to digest. People with sensitive stomachs can have trouble digesting pork and beef. So what I like to do, as I have a sensitive stomach, is when I consume, or what I tell people when they consume these meats, is get the extra enzymes that you need to break up those meats. So I like the Terrazymes from doTERRA because it has the extra enzymes. So I usually just take 3 before I consume those meats that my stomach's going to have a hard time digesting. Sweets. Processed sweets are empty calories and just bad all around. They spike your blood sugar and are void of any valuable nutrition. Besides causing weight gain, they trigger the release of inflammation messengers and can cause suppression of white blood cells, which makes you more susceptible to getting sick, which none of us are for. Saturated and trans fat. These fats can trigger fat tissue inflammation in the body. They are most often found in fast foods, fried products, and processed snack foods. So you want to stay away from those as well. Artificial sweeteners. Aspartame, found in diet sodas, is a neurotoxin that causes inflammation in the brain. And Splenda has been known to spike blood sugar and increase the release of insulin. So those aren't good for anyone at risk of diabetes. Processed food. Most packaged food has been altered for a shelf life, for a long shelf life, with preservatives, colors, and artificial flavors, all in which trigger inflammation in the body. Sounds like the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet emphasizes on eating primarily plant-based foods, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, replacing butter with healthy fats such as olive oil and canola oil, using herbs and spices instead of salt to flavor foods, eating fish and poultry at least twice a week, enjoying meals with family and friends, drinking wine if you like red wine, in moderation, of course. This one's completely optional, getting plenty of exercise and sleep. So what are some of the favorites as far as anti-inflammatory meals? Grilled tuna, salmons, blanched green beans, boiled eggs, tender greens, black olives, which is one of our family's most favorite. It has been for years. It's always considered a side dish on all those family dinners. 1 small red potato and salt and pepper. A can of anchovies. Just use half and save the other half for vinaigrette. Pour extra virgin olive oil on the plate and squeeze a fresh lemon. And then add ingredients. Drizzle with more olive oil and fresh lemon juice and enjoy. Be sure to grate the lemon peel over the tuna or the salmon for extra flavoring. And if you make ahead the vinaigrette, what I like doing is adding a couple drops of lemon essential oil. So, are you ready? Are you ready to try the anti-inflammatory diet? If you have any questions, please contact me at jody@clinicalmassageoffice.com and I'll further assist you. It was great spending this hour with you. Talk to you soon.